a bond issue with a principal of $3,508,296. It'll be at a 4.875 interest rate for a term period of 10 years. I'm going to read the maximum annual debt assessment per unit, and that maximum, it's maximum because of the fact, remember, if we spend less, we get to pay back, so this is the maximum. So for a luxury coach, it's $342.14 per year. For coach, it's $288.70. All right, so sorry about that. So,
369.89, that's the amount that will actually show up, that will be actually added to your tax bill.
so Appendix 5 is after the discount. Is that correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in other words, it could be as low as, but the stated number is going to be as follows. Okay.
So
So,
if you always assume that if someone doesn't pay until March, they're paying this full amount as opposed to the discounted amount.
okay, so what I was reading was a discounted amount, so the full amount, but you have the capability of paying the discounted amount, correct?
If you pay in November, you receive a 4% discount. So the 4% discount will still be slightly, even with the 4% discount, it'll be slightly higher than the number you're quoting, because that number also doesn't reflect the county. The county picks the cut off the top for using the tax roll. So the gross up figure of 369.89 includes both the county cut and the discount, which are kind of taken before we ever receive the money.
Okay. So, sorry about that. I read this 10 times and I still am confused, obviously. So, table 1. Bond size $3,508,296. Interest rate 4.875%. Term rate 10 years. Luxury coach $369.89 per year. Coach $312.11 per year. 55-foot wide lot. They call that the SF55. 416 per year. SF67, 67-foot wide lot, 520, 19 per year. SF75, 75-foot wide lot, 693, 58 per year. SF90, 90-foot wide lot, 1,040, 37 per year. And golf course, a clubhouse, $9,710.01 per year, and beach club, $9,710.01 per year. So that's going to be the fee structure before the discounts, etc. Everybody clear on that?
I just have a question. Well, Bill, there are two questions we have regarding, Bill and I were just discussing, but I have one unrelated to what we're talking about. Does a homeowner have the ability to prepay or buy off his bond debt allocation in full?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, Bill has a second question.
And the second question was, the way I just heard this, Mike, is that we got a full draw at closing on the funds?
I'm sorry, I didn't quite hear you.
What I'm hearing is that at the closing, we're going to do a 100% draw, and we're not going to be able to draw in increments as needed? I was just curious, why is that?
We have kind of a truncated time of getting, doing all this work. They're going to fully fund the construction account, therefore we don't have to wait for draws. We will be able to requisition those funds out of that trust account as soon as we need them. And that trust account will make interest via, because it's guaranteed government funds, a very small nominal amount of it, but it will make interest for funds that haven't been used up until the time that we've exhausted all the funds. At the end of the project, any money left in that construction account can be applied back towards the bond as a principal reduction to reduce the amount of the debt cost.
All right, but I imagine the interest rate will be higher than what we're going to get on our investment. I just want everybody to understand that.
You will not be charged anything, any kind of interest or reduction of principal on this. You can
without any penalty, repay without any penalty or premium. If that money comes from any kind of overage in the construction account and also any FEMA money, you're entitled to apply that to the debt at any time at your will.
This is Stan. I have one question. We had issuance costs on page 21 of $136,000. But I saw earlier reports that that was $101,000, and I don't have those with me. Is there?
So the report that was the financing terms that I emailed you on Friday. Somebody had asked to see the detailed terms, so I wanted to talk all the board members have the opportunity to look at that. The closing cost of 101 was a portion of the overall closing cost. It didn't include the bank fee, which is where the additional 30,000 came from. The bank has an issuance fee, and I'm pulling out right now, 35,000, $83.57. That's the difference in those closing costs that you're seeing on Appendix 2 versus the document that I sent you before.
Thank you.
I might add that in the fees negotiated or the negotiations with the bank, we negotiated away a debt service reserve account, which could have amounted to the maximum annual debt service in any year, $443,000, I think it was, dollars. That was negotiated away, so that is not a payment that would be included and that you would have to bear and apportion between the homeowners.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, from dealing with this, that's very unusual for the bank to allow for us not to have a debt service reserve. It's usually something that just comes with the deal. So the board knows. In Clark's search for a bank, for any bank to take this deal, honestly, as you've been told before, the bank that did the 2018 deal wanted nothing to do with this additional, this new 2019 deal. It was actually the bank that did your 2015 refinance that eventually stepped up and said that they were willing to do it. They had history with you guys. They felt comfortable, and I guess they felt comfortable enough to also not include a debt service reserve fund, which was surprising. So that's definitely a savings for the board. Basically, that's money you don't have to pay interest on while it's outstanding. So that's definitely a good thing.
Which bank was that? Which bank was that?
Hancock Whitney Bank. Their offices in Florida are located primarily in Bradenton.
You don't need a separate motion for that, do you, Jer?
I would define approving it in substantial form for purposes of notice, and then the resolution is all approved together. It's right now, correct.
All right, can I have a motion then to approve in substantial form the preliminary assessment methodology report for special assessments?
So, second.
All in favor signify by saying aye. Motion carries 5-0. Next, consider approval of engineer's report.
So,
There's a question.
I've got a question while we're on the topic of the payments. How does the FEMA reimbursement factor in if we're given when we actually receive it?
the question was, what happens with the FEMA reimbursement with regard to these bond issues? The FEMA reimbursement is directly applied. I am 100% certain in the case of the first bond issue, it must be directly applied. If my memory serves me correctly, with the second bond issue, the FEMA must be directly applied. Is that correct, Mike?
Mike, did you hear that?
So, correct. I believe there is language in the first 2018 bond that does say that the FEMA money that we received for this project will be applied back towards that bond. I believe the language in this particular deal, the 19 deal, says that we may use those funds to reduce the bond. I don't know that they're required. Clark, do you remember if there was anything required again? I didn't think there was.
No.
Yeah.
Okay, so
You have that ability to use those funds to reduce the bond in the case of 2019, but as strongly worded that you shall use those funds to do so. Obviously, you've got two different bonds now, and you're not going to get 100% from FEMA, so there's going to be some leftover debt. As far as what that debt is, that debt amount is going to obviously depend on what we end up with final construction amount. What happens?
Okay, is that clear? And that's a great question because we're going to have to do a financial analysis. You may recall me stating that the bond issue for the first phase was 15 years at a lower interest rate. Now, obviously, we're going to pay more interest because it's a 15-year, but it's at a lower rate. So we'll have to do an analysis to see if it's beneficial to pay off the first bond and leave the higher interest rate in the shorter term, or do we pay the higher interest rate off? Well, we have the flexibility with this bond issue to do that according to what they just said.
We should also know that any reimbursement we get out of litigation damages would also have the same application.
Yes, sir.
I got two quick questions. In the minutes of the last meeting, the estimate was that...
Go ahead, I'm sorry, your name?
Pete Bartol.
Thank you.
In the minutes from the last meeting, it was estimated the interest rate would be 3.9%. Now it's 4.85%. I was wondering what caused that. And then secondly, on the issue of FEMA, we seem to go back and forth from meeting to meeting. Yes, we're optimistic. No, we're pessimistic. Can we get some clarification?
Yes, we'll be talking about the FEMA update at the end of the meeting. And as far as the interest rate, can somebody, Mike, or talk about that?
I can answer.
I'm sorry, I couldn't quite hear the question regarding interest rate.
Last meeting, it was stated that there was 3.9%, and now it's 4.875. Can somebody?
And the reason it was, I asked Clark for a guess, an estimate based on prevailing current rates at the time.
Well, according to the minutes, he was basing that on some solid information.
Based on a bond issue he had just completed about a month and a half ago. So that I asked the question, and his response was only relating to that particular bond issue to give us a frame of reference as to about where it would be. So, and Clark did qualify that was that particular bond issue.
Sure, but it seems like a pretty substantial differential if they're similar projects, so I'm just wondering why we didn't get a better deal.
6.2 basis points. But
It's the market.
that's the market.
Prevailing market, we would have gotten
There's
lower.
only,
lower.
and not every bank is clamoring to finance this deal, you know, so.
That's your problem. I think there's probably maybe one or two banks that are out there in the markets that whatever they're going to be asking, you're really pretty well locked into that.
And the bond market, you know, just from an economic perspective, is a very difficult market right now. So, but that's.
Yeah, it just seems like
Just as a note, we finally got the final term sheet, which is actually one of the documents that's there with Kathleen today to be signed. The final term sheet from the bank, they got all of that, all those negotiations finalized, and that actual term sheet issued just last week. So that 4.87 rate reflects, you know, a very current rate, whereas, you know, the last board meeting you're talking a couple of weeks ago, it's not unusual for these rates to swing up and down over the course of a couple of weeks. So, but this 4.875, this is very recent. That term sheet is only a couple of days old.
Kathleen, at some point, I don't think that we're quite there yet, so we should take a motion to approve that term sheet and authorize the signature for it. If for no other reason for a letter of intent, you could make that representation, but also just get this authorization on the record to the bank too.
All right, we have a motion and a second on the floor to approve the preliminary assessment methodology in substantial form.
So there's no motion?
We got the motion.
We got a second.
We had a second on favor. We got the vote. Okay.
Aye.
And then we were taking questions after. Okay, we're going to move on to, do you want to take a vote on the term sheet now, Jared?
Why don't we present the engineer's report and take a motion on the engineer's report, and then we'll do the term sheet and then the declaring resolution.
All right. Josh, second.
Yeah.
The engineer's report was revised from the original 2018 report, which was used in the original bond preparation a year and a half ago. And what we did was we increased it to reflect the Phase 2 and Phase 3. Reflected the 2018 project is complete with the total cost consistent with what you saw in the assessment methodology of the $6.506175 million. And if the board has any questions?
Two questions.
And
Oh, we can revise it.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Normally, we take little templates from you as well to certify that the construction cost estimates are reasonable based on market conditions, and that the plan there for phases 2 and 3 is feasible. And if you just confirm those two items, I appreciate it.
Yes and yes. And George pointed out there's a typo in the section in there. This isn't the design section, it's more schematic, but we'll definitely modify that to reflect 24-inch stone and feet lengths.
You also need to modify that in paragraph 4 where you pull out 12 to 18.
Okay, very good. We'll do.
So
There's
two sections in the engineer's report, page 40, paragraph 4. Recites 12 to 18 inches, it should be 12 to 24. Then on page 45, the typical section shows 12 to 18 inch, we're looking for 12 to 24.
And the record should note officially that all the enterprises quote is based on 24-inch max size for ground. So there's no ambiguity about what was quoted on what was covered.
So I'll make those two changes and give those to you today, Catherine. Thank you.
Council, unless there's any further discussion, I would be looking for a motion to approve it in substantial form for notice purposes.
As amended. I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 5-0. JR, what you need now, the term sheet?
Yeah, and I think we've walked through this some already. I don't know if Mark is on the line or Mike.
I am.
Kind of walk through the terms, that would be really great. And then we can take a motion on that as well.
Yeah, I am here.
Okay, go ahead, Mark, thank you.
Pretty much as we've already discussed it, I think one of the more important things here is that the prepayment, all may be prepaid without penalty in whole or in part prior to the stated maturity date at the option of the borrower. That's very important to you if you do get money from FEMA, and also if you have an overage in the construction account, you can apply it immediately to reduce the debt. Other than that, pretty much the terms are standard, at least standard in the industry. As a matter of fact, some of them are very, very liberal. The one that I mentioned earlier is the absence of a requirement for a debt service reserve account, which has, at least 10% of the principal amount, par amount of bonds to debt service. It could possibly be higher, but basically it would be somewhere about $350,000 additional for a debt service reserve, on which you pay, of course, debt service. So I think pretty much we're standard. I don't know if there are any questions. I'd be happy to answer them.
Clark, the only thing I would add is that, as the board may or may not know, the term sheets are typically non-binding. Go ahead, Clark, yeah. And so we'd be taking a motion to approve in substantial form subject to Wes's review. But I think this was the bank reserves rights to maintain stuff until the time of pre-closing and closing, unless Clark is negotiating something differently there.
No, this is strictly a term sheet. I think it disclaims any kind of a binding, it says it is not binding and it's subject to other documents that are going to be prepared by counsel on your behalf and reviewed by your counsel, the bank's counsel, and of course all of the other parties to the transaction. And that, as soon as we have some documents out from our counsel, we'll probably see another term or not another term sheet, but we'll see another on the back.
Right.
Closing.
That's right.
We don't have a hard copy of the term sheet with us today. And obviously, it's a preliminary term sheet, and closing documents or preliminary estimates on closing costs will have those final costs. It would be good to just have something emailed to us. We don't have a copy.
Was that emailed to them?
The term sheet, I believe I don't know if we emailed that to you, Kathleen, or if we sent you a physical copy, but I don't think that was circulated to the rest of the board.
It's a question regarding cost of issuance. Cost of issuance, I have confirmed with all the parties. I have called them and told them what the size of the loan is. They know that, and they have given their fees. So I feel comfortable that $101,000 with the description, and I take my mail that to you or email it to you. I feel comfortable that those are the fees, that they shall not exceed those numbers.
That's fine, I just would like a copy of the term sheet so I'd like to read it.
Oh, I'm sorry, but I thought it did email over there.
No, none of us have received it. So.
Also, the approval of term sheet
You
wasn't
don't
on the
have to, you
agenda.
don't have to take action on it today. I think the reason that I think it would have been helpful if you all are comfortable proceeding, it's been it's something that we can put in our record. It sends a good message to our contractor. We're going to issue a letter of intent here probably later today or tomorrow. And of course, it's
Hey, Chair.
Thanks, too. Go ahead.
Hey, Chair, I believe the bank is requiring us to sign that term sheet and get it back to the, within, I think we've only got a couple days after today's meeting. So that is why we've had one brought to the meeting to be signed.
Okay, well, there you go. So it sounds like we do need to take some action on it after all. Thanks, Mike.
Remember to send by the 19th, return to them by the 19th. Remembering also, as just pointed out, this is non-binding. If it's non-binding on them, it's non-binding on you. So there will be other documents, but for sure, I'll see if this gets over to you.
So if everyone's comfortable looking for motion to approve it in substantial form, and also the chair would execute it. We'll make it clear that it is not binding on both parties. It's stated there already.
All right, can I get a motion then to approve the substantial form and authorize the chair to sign?
I'll second the motion.
All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 4-0. All right, now the resolution that pulls all this together. Consider resolution number 2019-02, declaring special assessments.
Kathleen, I'm happy to take this one. This is our resolution that I alluded to earlier when I talked about the process, right? The two-step process to levy a special with the secure bond issuance. And the first step is to adopt this resolution, which was declare our intent to levy a special assessment. A further resolution that comes right after this one at our special assessment hearing. Usually happens about 45 days later, and there's mail in, published notice, goes out to the community, informed of the hearing and our intent to move forward. So you can see some background provisions in there talking about what led up to the decision to declare special assessment today. The resolution of the body itself essentially sets forth the estimated project cost based on the insurance report. It incorporates the assessment methodology on a preliminary basis for purposes of notice, and the assessment goal is also set forth in the methodology, and it has a number of ministerial provisions. But unless there are any questions, we're looking for a motion to adopt the resolution and authorize the chair to execute it.
2019-03, setting a public hearing on special assessments. Jared, when does this need to be?
I would give us some time to finish it is a capital improvement, so the notice itself is a 30-day notice for mailing. I think the publish is a little shorter, like 20 days or so. So I'd probably set it around 45 days out at a time that is convenient for the board.
Well, they want to do it as quickly as possible in order to get the contract signed.
And also at the next meeting.
Could they do it at their next meeting? Well, I don't think you have enough. 30 days.
I don't think they're going to have time. I would suggest maybe a special meeting the last week of May might work.
Or we do a continuance on our.
We have to set a public hearing date now, resolution. So, your May meeting is
22nd.
22nd, your June meeting is June 17th.
So I was thinking 22nd. Yeah, maybe 22nd.
That's fine, 22nd.
I don't think he's good enough to say. We have to do a mailing and have a 30-day notice.
There's a lot of letters for staff to get out into. I mean, I probably think the week of the 27th of May, any day that week probably works. Kathleen, does that work for you all in terms of getting notices ready?
Michael? I don't know.
Well, I mean, I thought we kind of discussed this at the last board meeting, that we set the date of the 22nd, so we've kind of been trying to be geared up to be able to get that going by the end of this week.
That's why we moved it.
I'm sorry, I forgot about that. So if you all want to keep the 22nd, I think it's tight, but I do think that you have 30 days, so we can have that work.
So we're just gonna need that letter there, as quick as we can possibly get it to us.
Sure, I'll touch base with that right after and get that over to you.
Okay, great, thanks.
All right, so then we'll consider resolution number 2019-03, setting a public hearing date of May 22nd, 11 o'clock. Any other questions? If not, I make a motion to approve. Second? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Motion carries 5-0. Let's go with that's a different issue. You want to go back and,
But we,
we still need to discuss, have some discussions.
so Jer, the question is, we've done all the administrative things we need to do, subject to the public hearing on the 22nd of May. Thereafter, we could execute a contract with QE, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
So, and unfortunately, Quality Enterprises just left. They were supposed to be here till 10:20. They left a little early, maybe they're coming back. What we wanted to do was subject to all the financing, public hearing, and all peripheral administrative issues. Could we have prepared from your office a letter of intent to award Quality Enterprises a contract for Phase 2? Subject to all those conditions, whatever else you would want, which would then give them sufficient confidence to begin production of riprap. So we'd have a head start on the work commencing on the day that the contract is signed. Could we get such a letter from you?
Absolutely. We talked about this with Joe at the last meeting. I think it was important to have today's meeting to take the actions of just on that front sheet, the declaring resolution. We've got a shell letter set together. We'll add in some additional facts that occurred today and just have that letter out here likely tomorrow.
That would be great. That would be great. And if we, on the 22nd of May, convene our public hearing and all goes well and we move, can a contract, presuming it's been negotiated between your office and Quality, could a contract be signed the 23rd?
Yeah, I don't see why not. Usually there's some insurance certificates and bonds and things that need to be put in place, but I don't see why we can get a contract signed. We'll be leading up to that, so I'm sure we can get things in order lined up to that date.
So we would want to advise Quality that after he receives his letter of intent, that he should get all of his administrative paperwork in order into our offices in order that we can execute a contract with him as shortly thereafter, start the project as soon as we can. finish the project as soon as we can.
Sure, that gives us, 4 or 5 weeks now, I don't see why we can't get that ready.
Thank you.
One thing we need to make sure somehow, Lloyd, or Jared, that $75,000 issue is null and void. We're going to reject that. We are going to include that work in the contract. I want to make sure that's perfectly clear. Okay.
Okay.
Everything else with that letter seemed fine to me, so.
Get that ready. And I don't know if this is the appropriate place in the agenda to cover on one of the things that we had talked about in the last meeting was the construction administration. And I know we've sort of gone back and forth now. We obviously have a quality assurance contractor, our engineer. The contractor itself is very quality based in its own way. So we need as robust a construction administrator or construction manager as we might originally thought. We can go back and look at the state law and other part issues surrounding whether we could sort of hold that construction administration work under our district engineer contract. I think from a state law perspective, we're in good shape. I think though, if you want to get FEMA reimbursement for the construction manager, administration role, I would probably go back and rebid that. There are some extra requirements that FEMA has that, the state law doesn't require in terms of bidding for those services. It would also create a cleaner record rather than having it under district engineer contract. I just kind of keep it simple for them.
Well, I'll just stop you right there. The only thing about that is precedence has already been set with Josh Evans. Josh Evans was a construction manager on phase 1. So he was the engineer of record for the CDD as well as construction manager. So I don't see why there would be an issue if we decide for the new engineer of record to be the construction manager, who by the way has excellent construction management experience as well as bona fide direct reference because they were the construction manager for Heritage Bay.
Yeah, well, let me ask this. I mean, how much work do you think we're going to have that's not going to fall into the quality assurance contract that might be construction administration that you may want to get FEMA reimbursement for? Just ballpark. Is it three?
Well, I mean, we were anticipating $75,000 to $100,000, a very small portion of the contract.
Okay. So, I think if we scale back quite a bit,